So in part two, we're going to attempt to model a camera using our medium focal length lens, either our number 1 or number 2 as it says in the lab manual. And we're going to again focus on a very distant object that's out the window. And this will effectively be a model of a camera with the screen representing the photographic film. We're going to, so we've removed the light source in this case, and we're going to allow the light from the open window to reach our lens. So I think it's fine to use lens number 1. And with the screen held stationary, we're going to move the lens a distance from the screen that is greater than its focal length. So for lens 1, we were getting a focal length of about 20 centimeters. So we're going to move it at a distance that is beyond its focal length. And so as we do that, there's different features of the room that will come into focus. So say, for example, if I stick my hand out, my hand, which is now closer to my lens, comes into focus, whereas those objects in the background are now no longer in focus. So as I move this further up, I'm able to focus on closer objects as I get further away from my focal length. And those objects that are far out in the distance, they no longer come into focus. And if you recall, that should make sense, because only objects that are far away will come into focus when we're at approximately the focal point. So moving this lens further away from the screen will allow closer objects to come into focus while leaving the ones in the background out of focus. So what we're going to do is we're going to place our hand between the objects that are outside of the window and the lens, and we're going to use our hand as an object that's closer for us to focus on. And we're going to use the silhouette of my hand on the screen to try to bring that into focus. And so notice as the object is closer, I'll move my lens further away from the screen to try to bring it into focus. If the object is further away, then I'll have to move this back to try to get that silhouette into focus. By the way, you may be asking why it is that I'm able to get a nice clear color image of the picture outside the window on my screen, and yet I'm only getting a silhouette in my hand. Well, you should think about where this light that we're using to form these images are coming from. They're coming from outside the window, and so there's no light left to bounce off the palm of my hand, which is facing this lens, and so we'll only get that silhouette. So with my hand in focus here on the screen, I'm now going to try to take it out of focus and again focus on those objects that are in the background. So the things that are happening outside in the window, that blue sky and those puffy clouds. But you'll notice that moving this along the rail is causing those further objects to come into focus when the lens is closer to the screen, and those closer objects to come into focus when the lens is further away from the screen. And this is really what's going on with a camera who has an active focus that's either focusing on closer objects or focusing on objects that are further away in the background.